Imagine an eye the size of a dinner plate, staring at you from the darkness. Now imagine the creature attached to it. For centuries, sailors whispered about monsters lurking beneath the waves, tentacled beasts that could drag entire ships into the abyss. We dismiss them as myths, the fevered imaginings of men who spent too long at sea. But they were right, the giant squid is real. And nothing about it makes sense. This isn't just another large sea creature. Whales are big, sharks are impressive, but the giant squid, it's something else entirely. Every aspect of its biology violates the rules we thought governed life in the ocean. Its size defies metabolic logic, its anatomy seems ripped from science fiction. Its behavior remains so mysterious that scientists have spent lifetimes trying to answer the most basic questions about how it lives and dies. What you're about to learn will change how you see the ocean forever, and most people will never know these facts exist. We've explored less than 5% of our oceans. In that darkness, in the crushing pressure of the deep, lives a creature so alien it might as well have evolved on another planet. This is the story of why nothing about the giant squid was normal, and why that should terrify and fascinate you in equal measure. Let's talk about size. Not just big, impossibly, shouldn't be able to exist big. A giant squid can reach 43 feet in length. That's longer than a school bus, longer than a telephone pole laid on its side. If one stretched out in your living room, its tentacles would punch through both walls. They can weigh nearly a ton, the same as a full-grown horse. But here's what makes this truly disturbing. They live in one of the most hostile environments on Earth. The deep ocean is a wasteland, cold, dark, and critically oxygen poor. Down there, at depths of 1 to 3,000 feet, there's barely enough oxygen to support small fish, let alone a creature the size of a monster truck. Every biology textbook will tell you the same thing. In low-oxygen environments, animals stay small. It's a fundamental rule of metabolism. Less oxygen means less energy. Less energy means smaller bodies. The giant squid ignores this rule completely. Scientists still don't fully understand how these creatures survive at such impossible sizes. It defies the basic rules of marine biology. They shouldn't have enough oxygen to power bodies this massive. They shouldn't be able to move fast enough to hunt. They shouldn't exist at all. But size is just the beginning of what makes them abnormal. Now imagine those eyes again. Each one is the size of a basketball, nearly 11 inches across. The largest eyes in the entire animal kingdom. Larger than any whales, larger than any dinosaur that ever lived. And they exist for one reason: to see death coming in total darkness. You and I are effectively blind in the deep ocean. Our eyes evolved for sunlight, for color, for detail. Down there, we see nothing. Even our most advanced cameras struggle to capture anything beyond a few feet. But a giant squid? It can detect the faintest shimmer of bioluminescence from over 400 feet away. That's longer than a football field. These eyes can see things in the pitch-black abyss that would be completely invisible to any human technology. But what are they looking for? Their greatest predator, sperm whales. When a whale dives, hunting in the darkness, its massive body disturbs tiny bioluminescent plankton, creating a faint ghostly glow. To us, it would be invisible. To a giant squid, it's a beacon of approaching doom. Those enormous eyes are the product of an evolutionary arms race millions of years old, a desperate adaptation to spot a hunter that can swallow you whole. And what those eyes are attached to is even stranger. Behind those massive eyes sits a brain unlike anything else on Earth. It's shaped like a donut, a ring of neural tissue wrapped completely around the squid's esophagus. If the squid swallows something too large, it can actually suffer brain damage. Evolution deemed this risk acceptable. That should tell you something about how important this brain is. Cephalopods, squid, octopuses, cuttlefish are unnervingly intelligent. They solve puzzles, they use tools, they recognize individual humans. Some scientists believe they may possess a form of consciousness entirely alien to our own. And the giant squid has one of the largest brains of any invertebrate on the planet. What does a creature like this think about? What does it feel in those long hours drifting through absolute darkness? Does it experience fear when it detects that telltale bioluminescent glow? Does it feel anything we would recognize as emotion at all? We have almost no idea what it's like to be a giant squid, but their brains suggest they might experience the world in ways we can't even imagine. That's not comforting, it's unsettling. Because intelligence without context is alien. And we're talking about an intelligent predator the size of a bus, living in a place we can barely reach. But intelligence means nothing without the tools to use it. The giant squid has 8 arms and 2 specialized feeding tentacles. Those tentacles can shoot out with explosive speed, extending to twice their resting length in a fraction of a second to snatch prey from the darkness. But it's what covers them that will haunt you. Hundreds of sucker discs line each appendage. But these aren't the smooth, simple suckers you'd find on a small squid. Each one is ringed with sharp, serrated teeth made of chitin, the same material as insect exoskeletons. They rotate, they grip, they tear. When a giant squid latches onto something, those rings cut into flesh like tiny saw blades, ensuring nothing escapes. Each sucker has more gripping power than a human hand, and there are hundreds of them working together like a living net. Now consider the neural coordination required. 10 limbs moving independently in complete darkness, each one covered in sensory receptors, each sucker capable of tasting what it touches. The giant squid doesn't just grab prey, it analyzes it, tastes it, decides whether it's food or threat, all in the span of seconds. The precision is surgical, the power is brutal. These same tentacles can manipulate objects with surprising delicacy when needed, yet deliver bone-crushing force when hunting. It's a contradiction that defines the creature itself, graceful and violent, precise and overwhelming, and the prey they hunt are just as strange. Picture the environment: total darkness. Pressure so intense it would crush a human instantly, water so cold it hovers just above freezing. No sound except the occasional creak of shifting currents. This is where the giant squid hunts. Their diet consists of deep-sea fish, smaller squid, and possibly even each other. Cannibalism isn't confirmed, but it's suspected because down there, you eat whatever crosses your path. They drift through the void, nearly motionless, conserving energy in an environment where every calorie counts. Then, in an instant, everything changes. Giant squid use jet propulsion, sucking water into their mantle and blasting it out to rocket forward. When they strike, it's with terrifying speed. Tentacles explode outward, hooks dig in. Prey is dragged toward a razor-sharp beak hidden at the center of those writhing arms. The attack is silent, efficient, over in seconds. No one has ever witnessed a giant squid hunting in the wild, only the aftermath. We've found prey items in their stomachs. We've seen the scars they leave on other animals, but the act itself? The moment of violence in the dark, that remains unseen. It's a reminder that the deep ocean operates by rules we barely comprehend, where monsters feed in silence. But even as apex predators, they live in constant fear. There's a war happening in the deep ocean. It's been raging for millions of years, and the evidence is written in scars. Sperm whales carry the marks of battle across their skin, circular sucker scars the size of dinner plates. Some whales are covered in them, a grotesque testimony to countless fights in the darkness. These whales dive over a mile deep, holding their breath for up to 90 minutes, all to hunt giant squid, and the squid fight back. Imagine it, a warm-blooded mammal that breathes air, descending into an alien world to face a cold-blooded invertebrate armed with hooks and intelligence. The whale uses echolocation to find its prey. The squid uses those massive eyes to see the whale coming. When they meet, the battle is savage. Tentacles wrap around the whale's head. Hooks tear into blubber. The whale's teeth crush and tear. Both creatures are fighting for survival in total, crushing darkness. Sometimes the squid wins. Whales have surfaced with tentacle marks around their blowholes, nearly suffocated. Sometimes neither wins. Some whales have been found with squid beaks embedded in their flesh, proof of fights that lasted until the very end. These are titanic clashes between two of the ocean's strangest giants, invisible to human eyes. Yet despite these epic battles, we've barely seen them at all. Here's the problem. Giant squid live between 1,000 and 3,000 feet deep. They almost never surface, and when we try to bring them up, the pressure change kills them almost instantly. Their bodies are built for crushing depths. Remove that pressure, and they essentially fall apart. For all of human history, we've only had corpses, dead specimens washed ashore or pulled up in fishing nets, their bodies already decomposing. We've studied them like forensic investigators examining crime scene evidence, piecing together clues about a life we've never witnessed. Then in 2004, Japanese researchers captured the first photographs of a living giant squid in its natural habitat. In 2012, they filmed one for the first time. Those grainy, brief clips represent the sum total of our visual documentation of these creatures alive in the deep. Minutes of footage after centuries of searching. Think about that. We've mapped distant planets in more detail than we've observed the giant squid. There are likely dozens of giant squid species we've never even discovered, creatures that have never been seen by human eyes. We don't know how long they live. We don't know how they mate. We don't know how many exist. We're essentially blind. And some of what we have found is deeply unsettling. If you could somehow catch and eat a giant squid, it would taste like poison. Their flesh is saturated with ammonia, the same chemical in cleaning products. It makes them buoyant, allowing them to drift effortlessly in the water column without expending energy. It also makes them utterly ineatable and gives them a smell like industrial cleaner, but the chemistry gets stranger. Giant squid have 3 hearts, 3 to pump blood to the gills, 1 pumps it to the rest of the body. And that blood isn't red like ours, it's blue. Instead of iron-based hemoglobin, they use copper-based hemocyanin to carry oxygen. It's less efficient in warm, oxygen-rich environments, but in the cold, low-oxygen deep, it works perfectly. Their blood is so different from ours, it's almost like they evolved on another planet. Red blood, warm bodies, iron chemistry, that's the world we know. Blue blood, cold flesh, ammonia-soaked tissue, copper chemistry, that's the giant squid. They're built on a completely different biological blueprint, one that seems designed for an alien ecosystem. But the strangest part might be how they reproduce. Based on their smaller relatives, scientists believe giant squid reproduce once and then die. It's called semelparity, a single, catastrophic reproductive event that consumes everything the creature has. Males likely transfer packets of sperm to females in a brief, violent encounter somewhere in the darkness. Females may carry millions of eggs, releasing them into the cold water before their bodies simply give out. No parental care, no second chances, 1 moment of reproduction, then death. We've never seen giant squid mate, give birth, or raise young. It's one of the ocean's greatest unsolved mysteries. Imagine living your entire life in solitude, drifting through endless darkness. Hunting alone, fleeing from whales alone. Growing to enormous size in total isolation. Then, perhaps only once in a lifetime of years, you encounter another of your kind, you mate, and shortly after, you die. It's a profoundly lonely existence. These creatures are born alone, live alone, and die alone in the vast emptiness of the deep ocean. There are no giant squid families, no social bonds. Just individual monsters navigating an alien world until their biology demands one final act. Which brings us to the most haunting question of all. Remember that eye staring at you from the darkness? Now you know what's behind it, and somehow that makes it more terrifying. Because despite everything we've learned, the giant squid remains profoundly unknowable. We still can't answer the most basic questions. How long do they live? 5 years? 50? We don't know. How intelligent are they really? What happens inside that donut-shaped brain? We don't know. How many species of giant squid exist? We assume there's 1, maybe 2, but there could be dozens lurking in unexplored depths. Do they communicate with each other? Do they have territories? Migration patterns. We don't know. Are they going extinct, victims of warming oceans and changing chemistry? Or are they thriving in ways we can't detect, hidden in the 70% of the ocean we've never explored? There could be a giant squid directly beneath you right now, and you would never know. The ocean is so vast, so deep, so utterly dark in its lowest reaches that creatures the size of buses live their entire lives without ever being seen. That should humble us. We've put robots on Mars. We've photographed distant galaxies. But we can't reliably study an animal that lives on our own planet. We share this planet with creatures so alien, so impossible, that they remind us how little we truly know about the world beneath the waves. The giant squid is not just a monster. It's a reminder that the ocean keeps its secrets well. And maybe, just maybe, some secrets are meant to stay in the dark.